broadcasters. Welcome to episode 234 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name is Geige. I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a good week. We have some fun announcements for tonight, so really excited to get into those. For anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's why we're calling it Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we possibly can. And number three, I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional stream. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. I see people tuning in from all over the world tonight. I see a couple people from Alberta, Canada. Awesome. I think I saw Tennessee and Oklahoma. Very, very cool. Before I forget, we have some awesome shows on StreamYard. We have YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. Really fun show if you're looking to grow on YouTube. Both of them are pros when it comes to really understanding an audience and thinking about things like thumbnails and analytics. And it's fun because they go into individual channels and give specific advice. So definitely check that one out. And then we have Enhance Your Live Streams the last Tuesday of the month with Nick Nimmin, who, again, pro when it comes to all things video. So definitely check that one out for your live stream advice. And then one thing we've been doing at the start of these is a fun fact, so that we get to know a little bit more about you and you get to know a little bit more about us. And today's we had favorite summer drink. Do you have a favorite summer drink, Dan?
Kind of boringly, no. I don't think I really have a unique summer drink. The main things I drink is water and then whole milk. I like drinking a lot of whole milk, so I guess that would technically, let's call that my favorite summer drink. How about you?
Right on. I definitely have a favorite summer drink. I'm a big coffee drinker, so in the summer it's iced. I like iced coffee in the summer.
Yeah, never been a coffee guy.
All right, let's do a few questions here and then get into some of the announcements. Let's see here. We had Run from LTI TV says, hey, from the UK, thanks so much for staying up late to hang out with us. Any chance of having overlays that cover the banners? It would be useful to know a little bit more about sort of your show LTI and like what you're trying to do with the banners and overlays. Mostly, the most common way I've seen people like work around something like that is they would basically just make a custom overlay or a custom banner that is part of the overlay. So whatever they're basically trying to show in that banner section, they would just make that part of their own overlay. But if that's not something that works for your use case, I'd be super curious to know what you're trying to accomplish to make sure that however we address something like that, that we do it in the right way.
Yeah, sometimes too, you can just kind of make an overlay where you don't really use the banners, you just have overlays and the overlays have like that text in them. But yeah, would be very curious to see exactly what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. And
also be curious just to confirm if it's the banners or the ticker specifically that you want to switch the orders.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Gloria, it's been a minute since we've seen you here. Hope you're doing well. Same with you, Andy. Great to see you again. George says, can you come up with a few filters to make our skin look better? Yeah, that one's definitely come up before, George. Sort of like a, I forget what folks call it, like a touch-up filter or a beauty filter. Yes, that's actually actively being worked on. I don't have a specific date or anything for you, but we are working. The AI team is working on some cool filters specifically when it comes to things like a touch-up filter and lighting correction and that type of stuff. So stay tuned on that. All right. See a lot more questions here, but let's get to a couple of the announcements, and then we'll get back to some more of the questions. First one is just a reminder of the one last week. So guest comment posting to YouTube, that is fully available now. It was in the process of rolling out early last week. So everybody should have full access now. Do you want to talk a little bit, Dan, about what exactly that means and how that works?
Yeah, definitely. And this is, to be clear, different than the guest destinations feature we shipped a while ago. So guest destinations that has been out for a while is where your guests can choose to stream to their own destination. So if they have their own YouTube channel, they can stream to that. For guest comment posting, this is allowing the guests to post to your YouTube channel. So a lot of the times you'll have a guest in the studio and they want to participate in the chat. And often what they would do is open YouTube in a separate tab. Now they've got two tabs open. They might be kind of hearing echo because they're hearing you, but then they're also hearing the YouTube stream itself. and it's more bandwidth on their machine. It's kind of complex managing 2 tabs. So now those users in the studio, within the StreamYard studio, can actually join the YouTube chat themselves, and they're basically posting as their own YouTube channel. So super convenient, just like a nice quality of life improvement.
Yeah, so if anyone has any feedback or additional requests when it comes to the feature, definitely let us know. We're super excited to launch it. It's something that's been asked for a really long time, especially from a few folks that were in the chat when we announced it for the first time. So that was fun.
Yep, and I would add too, as hosts, you've always been able to comment to YouTube from StreamYard, but this is specifically for your guests if they want to join the chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Elaine, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. And then for the new announcement tonight that we have not mentioned in the past is updates to the StreamYard editor. So the whole reason why we launched an editor for StreamYard is to make it much easier for you to repurpose your content. So many of you, you spend a ton of time planning and coming up with like this great content for your show, but there's so much you can do after the live stream when it comes to your content, like when it comes to cutting it up and making a cool highlight for YouTube Shorts or an Instagram reel, or maybe just editing it down for like a YouTube video. Like say you're streaming on Facebook and you want to turn it into a YouTube video after the fact. There's tons of really cool opportunities when it comes to repurposing. That's why we launched the editor in the first place, and we're continuing to invest more and more to make it really, really easy for you to make your content go further, where you make an awesome piece of content once and you can get way more out of it than just the live stream. So some of the recent updates that we just launched, I guess, are these available now, Dan, or are they in the process?
I believe they're all fully rolled out.
Cool. So you should be able to access them immediately. The first update is YouTube posting. So you've always been able to post to YouTube Shorts, but now you can actually go post to YouTube itself. And I believe right now it's up to 20 minutes long. Yep. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah. So for example, if you do a live stream or recording, say you record for an hour, let's just say, and then you want to post maybe a 5-minute chunk or a 10-minute chunk to YouTube afterwards, you can do that very easily right from within StreamYard. And whereas in the past you'd have to trim it, download it, go to YouTube, and then post it. Now you can just do it all from the editor.
Awesome. And then the next one we had was pretty simple, but absolutely needed functionality. I will definitely be using it myself, is the ability to undo and redo changes within the editor. I think that's fairly self-explanatory, but there's just an undo and redo button in the editor itself.
Yep. And the editor, as well, as you mentioned, has always had hotkeys. So we also have, like Control-Z, Control-Shift-Z to undo and redo. So these have hotkeys just like the rest of the editor always has.
Cool. And then the final one was the ability to, so we've had this on the main clipping feature for a while, but the ability to cut out individual segments specifically for Shorts and Reels. So previously you basically had to just choose a specific 60-second section, and now you can basically choose a bunch of individual components to make up that 60-second period.
Yeah, which is super handy. So if you want to, let's say, post a 30-second clip to Instagram, but you want it to be a 5-second chunk from the start and then a 5-second chunk from the middle and maybe some chunks farther on, and then merge those all together. You could do that with the regular trimming flow before, but you could not do it with the Shorts and Reels flow. But now you can, which is super handy. And then as part of this as well, we have actually updated the editor. So instead of it kind of being in a modal and just like this modal that appears, it's now like a full screen page, and then we'll be able to add more features to it. Do you want me to screen share for a bit, guys, just to walk through roughly what this looks like too?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me just pull this up.
And Rosalie says, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Wow, that's good to know. So you mean you can cut the video you like to post to become Shorts? Yes, absolutely. Like in the initial integration with Shorts came out a while ago. And if you go into the destination section on StreamYard, you can actually connect YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels as individual destinations. But yeah, exactly like you mentioned, after your show's over, you can trim out individual sections and turn that into a YouTube Short.
Cool. So I'll just walk through this quickly. Maybe hide the banner as well, just so we can, because I'll need to see the bottom here.
Yep.
So if you're in your videos page on StreamYard, if you click on a video, this is just like a kind of a random countdown video. I'll just pause that. If you're familiar with how to, if you've ever edited something before, you already know about this button, but you can edit and repurpose. This has changed a little bit. So the Shorts and Reels is still very similar. This is the new section where instead of just trimming, like we said, you can also post to YouTube. So I'll start with that. And now this is just a 30-second video. You can scrub through, choose where I want to clip. And like we said, you can undo, redo. You can do that with hotkeys as well. We've also got, we just called it shorts and reels mode to kind of switch between the two. So if you decide partway through, actually, you know what, I do want to do a short. I don't want to do this long form video. You can just switch that. It'll switch into the shorts mode. And then, like I mentioned, if I wanted to split, you can actually do that within this shorts and reels mode now, which is very convenient. And then if I just go back here, like, so let's say we want to post a regular YouTube video. When I'm done, I just click publish. I just choose my YouTube channel and whatever title and description I want to have. Choose the privacy, and it'll just post off to YouTube as a regular video. So much easier than having to, edit here, then download, then actually go to YouTube and post it.
Cool. There's a few folks asking if there's on what plans these types of things will be available on. I believe everyone has access to all the editor features, right, Dan?
Yep.
And then Susie, not specific to the editor, was asking, will filters be on every version or only the paid? We haven't actually made the final decision there, Susie, but I'm pretty sure we'll end up just making it available on all plans. That's generally how we handle those types of features. Yep. All right, let's see. So yeah, we're super excited about the editing features. Looking at the chat, looks like lots of you guys are too. So happy to hear that. But if there's anything else that you'd like to see added to the editor, if you have any additional questions when it comes to the functionality of it, definitely let us know, because like I mentioned before, we really want to continue to invest in it and make sure that it really is useful to you and allows you to take that piece of content and make it go much further than what you're doing now. And if you're already doing all that stuff now, that's great, but hopefully this can make it even easier in your existing workflow. All right, I see quite a few questions here about Instagram. So let me just quickly note Instagram. Yeah, it's a good question, Nicothea. So you can technically stream to Instagram today. So if it's just, there's not very many people that have access to it. But if you go to StreamYard and in the top right, go to the support documentation, you will find an article there where you can check to verify, like, if you do actually have access to Instagram. And if you do have access to Instagram, you can use StreamYard's custom RTMP option to stream there. And now that we have custom layouts, you can actually sort of do some cool stuff there as well when it comes to like the formatting to make it look nice for Instagram. But oftentimes, folks, when they ask stream Instagram, they mean like a direct integration like we have with YouTube and Facebook, which we absolutely would love to add. And as soon as Instagram has an API for that, right now their policy has always been that they want streams to come directly from the Instagram app. I think the RTMP option is new, and the fact that they've added that, I think, is a strong signal that'll likely change in the future. So as soon as it is possible to do that in line with Instagram's policy, like, we're not going to ever do something that works around their policies, we will absolutely add that. All right. Internet Madi says, I hope that you will add WordPress plugins and also come with a PeerTube integration. That's a cool idea, Madi. I'd be super curious, like, what types of plugins you'd like to see with WordPress. I'm guessing you mean maybe a plugin when it comes to OnAir. That would be the one that I would guess would be the most likely, like basically making it really easy to take StreamYard OnAir and add it to your WordPress website. It is relatively easy to do. And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, OnAir is basically StreamYard's feature that allows you to do your very own webinars or your private live streams on StreamYard itself. And you can either choose to do that in addition to the social platforms you're going out to, or do it afterwards. So say you've built up this awesome audience on social and maybe you're preparing to, sell a course or a product or something like that. You can use StreamYard OnAir to basically collect email addresses and host that webinar content. But I would basically, I'd just be curious to learn more, Madi, because right now you can absolutely use it with a WordPress website. So I'd love to learn more about like what you'd like to see when it comes to a plugin. And I'll have to look up PeerTube. I'm not actually familiar with PeerTube. Cool. Anna had a question on guest comments. Anna says, how does it work for the guests? Is it super obvious what they need to do to be able to comment? Do you want to cover that one, Dan?
Let me also just check. So I'll answer the question, but I also want to see if we have a picture. I don't think we do, though. No. Actually, no, it's not quite the same. So basically, for guests, in the comment section on the right side of the page, there's just a button at the very bottom, right where you would usually see the option to just type and post something. They'll see a button that says join the chat. And if they click that, they just have to connect their YouTube channel. So there'll be a big connect button. Choose that. It takes them through kind of a similar flow to what you would do if you were connecting a YouTube destination. And then they can comment. And that's pretty much it. The only thing I would add is By default, when a guest enters the studio, we put them on the private chat tab because we want them to see if there's anything going on in the private chat. We don't want them to be distracted by the comments. We want them to see the private chat. So they have to actually click and do the comments tab themselves in order to see the YouTube comments, and then they can click to join the chat. So if you're giving them instructions and you really want them to be in the chat, you could just tell them, like, click on that comments tab and then just click the button at the bottom.
Cool. Andrew says, question, would you ever release the dimensions of the standard StreamYard layouts so we can build graphics around them? I know with custom layouts we can, but a lot of trial and error right now. Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. We want to make it as easy as possible for folks to build, overlays that work with our layouts. We should come up with a better solution. We do technically have in the community group a public, basically Google sheet that shows the various dimensions of all the layouts. But at some point, I think we would like to add something that is maybe hosted on the web or something that is a little bit more friendly when it comes to working with it. But they are technically in a Google sheet. And if Dana, if you're watching, maybe you could add a link to that. And maybe in the next town hall, we'll add the link to that. Vega says, past videos and broadcast organization, please, tags and or folders, heart. Yeah, absolutely, Vega. We definitely want to make organization easier than it is now. Any thoughts on tags and folders, Dan?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's something we've considered. And I'd just be curious as a follow-up question why you'd want that. Is it specifically for repurposing? Like you want to make it easier to find certain videos to repurpose? Is it just like I'm just curious what you're using the past videos for now and why you want to organize them? But yeah, I get the need.
Cool. See, there's tons of more questions here. We'll get to as many as we can, but just to make sure we don't run out of time, there were a couple other things I wanted to mention. One is, we mentioned it last week, but just a reminder in case you missed it. I'm guessing it's probably not applicable to too many people here, but occasionally there are folks using StreamYard within a larger organization watching these. So SSO is now available on the StreamYard business plan. And if you have no idea what SSO is, it's probably not applicable to you, but SSO just stands for single sign-on. And it basically, if you are managing StreamYard as part of a larger company, it just makes it easy to manage basically creating accounts and removing accounts for employees and things like that.
Yep.
And the other reminder from last week was there were quite a few OnAir updates. Like I mentioned before, OnAir is StreamYard's solution for webinars and private live streams. And some of those updates were chat reactions. So if you're hosting with OnAir and someone leaves a comment on your StreamYard OnAir, other folks in the audience will actually be able to react to it with like a thumbs up or how many are there? There's tons of emojis you can.
Yeah, I think there's 8 emojis. Super useful because
then
it's just a nice, easy way to scan through the comments and see like, oh, everyone liked this one. Let me make sure I address that comment.
Cool. Yeah, and the chat is embeddable now too. So whether you're using the chat on StreamYard itself and directing people to a StreamYard link, or you've actually chosen to sort of like host it on your own website and white label the experience, you will be able to access chat reactions in both scenarios.
Yep.
The other one was downloading the chat. So now after the OnAir is over, you'll be able to download the chat as a CSV file. And then the final one was hiding the viewer count. And this is specifically when it comes to the audience. Like you'll still be able to see your own viewer count, but for the people watching the StreamYard OnAir, if you don't want them to see how many other folks are watching, you just want them to focus on the webinar itself, you can now hide the viewer count. And I do remember there were a couple of questions we didn't have time to get to last time regarding chat reactions and downloading the chat, mostly if it's like applicable to anything outside of OnAir. And unfortunately, no. So with chat reactions, the only reason we're able to do that is because OnAir is like hosted on StreamYard. So we're able to do like custom stuff when it comes to the chat. But with the platforms, that has to be something that they add. And if they add it, then we'll be able to support it. But for right now, there's not really a way for us to, first of all, not all of them have that. And then the ones that do, I don't think allow us to access that. And then same with downloading the chat, that came up as well. We'd love to make it available to be able to download the chat from social platforms, but there is some privacy stuff when it comes to the platforms in terms of like what you're actually allowed to capture in a downloadable format. But we'll continue, working on that and figuring out what is possible to do there.
Cool.
Cool. And one final thing, it came up in a previous show. Is I know we sometimes, or essentially every time, we don't have the chance to get to every single question, and sometimes folks spend a lot of time like writing out a question. And sometimes they're a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to it. So Mo on the team went ahead and set up a form. So if you do actually say you have maybe a complex question where you want to be able to submit a video or give additional context, Mo did make this form available. So if you are interested in making sure that we have the chance to like view it beforehand, you can just submit it at that form. We're experimenting with this. We'll see if it's a good solution to the problem, and if it is, we'll continue using it. But we'll definitely try it at least a couple times. So for the next one, we'll make sure we'll scroll through those so that anything that we've had trouble getting to historically, we'll make sure we'll be able to like review it and get to it during the show.
Cool. Yeah, I think there's a 20-second limit on the videos right now. And we may need to change that in the future, maybe make it slightly longer if people struggle to kind of get their question in that quickly. But also just make sure, we don't want to have to try and listen to a video that's 20 minutes long. So start with 20 seconds and adjust as needed.
All right. Let's see some of the questions we had here. Anna says, love the separation of audio and video for my podcast. So helpful. Awesome, Anna. Super happy that's been working well for your podcast. Yeah, that was a whole, I guess it's technically different from local recording, but that was a huge part of local recording, was giving folks the ability for podcasting specifically, where even if you have a guest that's on bad internet connection, giving you the functionality to be able to record that locally in an individual track that you can edit after the fact. Vay says, dang, there's a lot I need to learn about my StreamYard. Hopefully we made it pretty easy to learn. Vay, we do want to make sure that we make StreamYard as easy as possible to use and stuff doesn't really get in the way. And if that ever changes, definitely let us know.
Yeah. We also just try to make sure like the core experience of just, I want to get into StreamYard, I want to click a couple buttons and go live, or click a couple buttons, do a recording, do a webinar, is very simple. And then, of course, there's more features as you want to kind of explore and try out more things. But we really focus on just making sure that core experience is super simple. So even if you don't care about all the extra stuff, it works great. It does exactly what you need. So you don't need to learn absolutely everything. Obviously, you can if you really want to explore everything. But the core experience does the trick. Cool.
There's lots of folks here tonight that I haven't seen for a while. It's nice to see you, David. Hope you're doing well. Says grateful for the continued features and a fair price point. Awesome. Happy to hear that, David. Thanks for the context there. Vegas says, for example, I want to delete all the videos related to a particular project. So it'd be nice to have them all in a folder. That's really helpful to know. Thanks for that. This is a great question from Jillian. Says, when posting from the editor to YouTube, can you specify unlisted, public, or private? You can do that?
Yep.
Awesome. So absolutely, Jillian. Let's see. Ryan, the tech guy, says, thank you, StreamYard. I'm happy with the merch I won a few weeks back. Love using your amazing service. Thanks, Dan and Geige. Well, thank you, Ryan, for hanging out with us and tuning into the show and using the product. Glad that you're enjoying the merchandise.
Cool.
Packer Dude says, any way you guys could add an ability for YouTubers to manage the comments that pop up as held for review. So if my mod team is small, I can help them manage the held for review comments. Yeah, that's a good question, Packer Dude. I don't know. Let us get back to you on that. I don't know what we actually have access to when it comes, like the held for review thing is a cool feature of YouTube, but I don't actually know if we're able to see like what's held for review. It might just be StreamYard only sees comments once they're past that point, but let us look into that. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
No, I don't think
so. Cool. And Christopher says, are custom overlays / layouts available for shorts? So they're available in the sense that like you can obviously use them when you're doing a recording or your live stream. But right now, the way that shorts work is we pad the top and bottom of the video. We are planning on we do want to do way more for that in the future, basically make it where, I don't want to get into too much detail, but the design team is working on some really cool functionality to basically make it where it's not sort of one size fits all. And you can actually do some really cool custom stuff that works well for both shorts and your live stream, but that's still in the works.
Yep.
Should we go ahead while I do a couple more questions here, Dan, and start queuing up the giveaway?
You bet we should.
Up the middle says, have you considered adding podcast directories as a standard or custom destination? Yeah, we've definitely considered it. Up the middle. I would be curious, both from you and anyone else watching who does regularly host podcasts, if the flow now is like how well the flow now works in terms of basically downloading it from StreamYard and then uploading it to your podcast versus the amount of value there would be from being able to post it directly from StreamYard and the types of directories that you'd want us to support. But it's definitely something we've thought about, but not 100% sure if or when we'll add that yet. All right. Cool. It looks like many folks are familiar with the giveaway. So we always do these at the end of the town hall. And we actually made this tool publicly available. So if you ever want to do your own giveaway, like say you're giving away, a book or a course or, a membership or something like that, you can use this tool exactly how we're using it now. And you can even choose your own hashtag. There's a little video if you go to StreamYard.com/giveaway on exactly how it works. So tonight, why don't we'll give away the StreamYard pillow and the StreamYard sweater. And we'll give you maybe 10 seconds or so to get in your hashtag, the yards. That's all you got to do to be eligible is type in hashtag the yard. It only counts one time. Cool. Let's see what else we had. The one says, hey guys, can you have it where you can pop out windows for folks that use teleprompters? Yeah, that's a good question or suggestion. It's definitely something. Pop out functionality in general is definitely something we're open to. I know there's a lot of use cases when it comes to multiple monitors or being able to organize things in your own way. So it's definitely something that we're open to adding. All right, has the number stabilized, Dan?
Just hit 100, so I think that's a good number.
All right,
let's do it. Good luck, everyone.
Let's talk. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. If you could send an email to contact@streamyard.com, the team can work with you to get your size and your address and everything shipped your way.
Cool. Congrats. Just to answer Adam's question here. So you mentioned you're just on a show and it didn't have the YouTube chat. So it is rolled up for everyone. So you should have it. That said, there are some cases where it won't be there. First of all, if the person's not streaming to YouTube, obviously it won't be there. If the stream is private, it won't be there. If guest destinations is on, it also won't be there, although we may adjust that so that unless you actually add a guest destination, you won't see it. So there are a few things where it won't show up. So I'm guessing one of those would have been the case, unless you were on it a week ago, because as you know, it hadn't fully rolled out at that time. But it did fully roll out as of early last week. And you can test it out yourself as well if you want to do like an incognito window or something for one of your streams.
Cool. I think we have time for maybe one more here. Michelle says design functionality for the shorts feature would be great. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to go deeper when it comes to the editor functionality.
Yes.
All right. And with that, this was episode 234 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you guys for all the questions. I know there's a lot we couldn't get to, so hopefully that sy.app/ask will help. We'll try that next time. But yeah, this is episode 234. It's always a pleasure getting to be here with you and get your feedback. And we'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Perfect. See you next week, everyone.